This story begins when we see this girl, apparently she was starting to coo.
Oh.
With our main character, and he just begins to notice that the boy is acting very strange. So he asks him if he is scared by the situation in which is found, but the boy just wonders what is happening, and backs away. But the girl tells him that no matter where he goes, he will be her boyfriend. He does not stop wondering what is happening, and why that the girl was acting so strange. And also because they were in this situation. To give context, the author shows us that 300 years ago, he was at home when he accidentally teleported to another world, where he dedicated himself to training until become a very powerful teacher, and after all that, he returned to the normal world. And specifically to the situation he was in, he wondered if he still had all his powers, or it had just been a strange dream. But suddenly the girl laughs flirtatiously and tells him to go back to bed. The protagonist again refuses and decides to go home because it was already getting late. She asks him if he thinks he can go alone. The protagonist ignores her while he asks why that girl had so much energy. He simply answers to the girl that they will see each other later, but she insistently grabs his arm and asks him if he really believes that he can leave so easily. The protagonist seemed too strange to him, the amount of energy that the girl emitted, so he decides to question her about her strength, making use of the abilities of the world he came from. And the girl, to get away, with just one blow she sent him flying. He kept wondering the reason of so much force. While planning a tactic to get out of that place, observing the place, she managed to see some clothes on a rack, which she decided to take and flee quickly. The woman was very surprised by the great strength that that boy showed, predicting that they would meet again in the near future. Once outside the apartment, the very happy protagonist imagined that his family would be waiting for him with open arms, in addition to the joy he felt for arriving back in his hometown. But suddenly he is distracted by a couple, in which the boy is hugging his girl while he is telling her to please buy him something while giving her affection. And the main character wonders why that idiot asks for something. Is he not capable of living by himself? Suddenly a woman tells him to move, since he was getting in the way while she worked, and he wonders what was happening there. Why was that woman so strong? Just in that he realizes something very terrible. All those who were working were women. He was increasingly surprised about the way the world was acting. Investigating a little, he realized that all the women became strong. It seemed strange to him, but he decided to go home, since he wanted to see his parents. When he sees his father in the kitchen, he tells him that he is happy to see him again. His father, so surprised, asks him where was he and why was he on the street so late. And immediately, the father realizes that the protagonist has a woman's perfume smell. So he asks him what the hell he was doing and why does he have a woman's perfume smell. Our protagonist was the way his father acts seems very strange, so he asks where his mother is. The man calmly answers that his mother is working. He also decided to ask about his sister, and he tells him that his sister is in her room on the second floor. When she enters her sister's room, she finds her watching. He is traumatized after that, and he wonders if his sister was like that. So he decides to ask her directly if she was seeing. His sister confirms it and tells him that a boy as small as him can't be seeing something like that, and not to get involved in his business. He wonders why his sister thought she was so superior. After that his father she called, since they had to have dinner, but the girl just went to tell her father that she would not eat that day, but that she needed money to go to a bar. Her father replied that he was not going to give her because she was going to waste. But after insisting so much, she agreed and tells her to please take care of the money, since they are not financially well off. She just took the money and left. Her brother asks her father why he had given her so much money, and let her go and what really happened. The father replies that his sister has to look for a job, since that way a normal husband can be found. He wonders again what was happening in that world, but suddenly his mother arrives. Just like with his father, the protagonist starts to hug his mother and tells her that he missed her a lot. But she wonders if the money he was giving her was not enough, and she simply gives him money. He was confused because he had never asked her for it. Money to his mother, so he hands it over and tells her that he doesn't need it, but the mother insists, telling him to take that, since he hasn't given her that much money lately, and she asks him where his sister is. He tells her that his sister had gone out drinking with some friends, so don't worry. And she says what is typical of her sister, but if she doesn't find a good job, she won't find a husband. Then the protagonist goes to his room because his parents start to flirting. She also realizes that he looked attractive and understood that time had not been distorted, but that the protagonist was in another world, where all men acted like women and vice versa. The protagonist hoped to find a way to his world original since that disgusted him. He decides to train since he remembered that the first girl he saw in that world was very strong. So he begins to cultivate his mana and say that he will return to that world that he had always loved, where women are women and men are men. He was very focused on his cultivation, and he was already at a very advanced stage, beginning to feel everything, and he sees how his father is very affectionate in front of his mother. He tries to ignore him and his cell phone just rings. Apparently it is his sister. He asks her what is happening, and she tells him to please not tell her father anything, that she is in big trouble. She says that there was a bundle under her bed that they had given her, that please take him away, but without his mother and father finding out. The girl who was beating his sister tells him that if he doesn't come, then they will kill his sister. The angry man says that it doesn't matter what world he is in, if someone tries to mess with his family, even touch it, he will destroy them. When the protagonist arrives, he tells him to please release his sister, since she had brought a package and her sister tells them that this was the package that they had given her. So she had already paid for the deal, but to confirm what she had there, since they were very anxious. The girl who was in front of the protagonist tells him to please check it, so that he can see what was there. The protagonist tells him that it is no longer necessary, since he just stayed. He wanted to go with his sister, but she insists again, and tells him that if he doesn't open it, his sister will stay with them, so he agrees. When they opened it they saw that there was a lot of money. The sister tells him that she doesn't know how did she get there, and she didn't even know they had so much money. But the protagonist asks her if she never checks a bag they give her. She tells him no. The blue-haired girl tells her not to worry. Since there was all the money, then they would release the sister. Since she had brought the money, all happy she says thank you brother and she tries to leave quickly. But the blue-haired girl tells her where she thinks she is going. She had told her to leave, but she had never told her brother to leave. The sister, all worried, asked her what she was going to do to her brother, and she only tells him that she wants him as a boyfriend, since the boy was very handsome. But the girl was determined not to give her brother, even if they killed her, so she tells her brother to go away, and tell to her parents that she loves them. But the main character asks what the hell she is saying. The girl who is back starts to laugh, and wonders if she is crazy for trying to protect her brother, and that from this moment she will massacre her. But the angry girl tells to her brother again to leave, that her older sister will protect him, but the protagonist, like every alpha male, tells her to please back off and that he will be who will protect her. He also tells the girl in front that she will not allow a crazy woman to threaten his sister. They all start laughing, since men were useless in this world, but our protagonist, like a real boss, slaps her. And the sister wonders what is happening. Suddenly the girl begins to attack him, but the protagonist defends himself with similar blows, and she wonders how a man can be so strong. Since men were normally very weak, the protagonist again tells her that he is not the same as all the men in that world. So the girl orders attack that damn man and tear him to shreds. The main character pounces backwards and gives forceful blows to all the girls, and thus he defeats them one by one, until he leaves them all on the ground. The boss girl who had sent her army tell him as he believed that he is invincible. He can be skilled or a strong man, but no one will escape from a bullet. He won't get out of this situation alive. The sister began to tell her to take herself then please, not kill her brother, but the girl was determined to kill him, since a man had never humiliated her. The protagonist only tells his sister to get behind him. If someone are going to receive a bullet, it would be him. But at that moment a girl came saying that the boy was very interesting, and she ordered the girl to lower the weapon. We are going to leave the summary here. I hope you are liking it. Please subscribe and comment for a second part. Also recommend me new manhwas to summarize in the future. I will be working on new summaries soon. See you later.